I don't think I've ever said this on the podcast, but I hate Christmas. Like, I hate this shit. I hate this time of year. I do not like the holidays. I am not a holiday person whatsoever. My favorite movies are The Nightmare Before Christmas and The Grinch when it comes to holiday movies. Like, I do not like, and I actually don't really like the ending of The Grinch because he assimilates to the Who culture, and I hate that so bad. So, what we're going to talk about on today's episode is kind of that over romanticism of the holiday season. Interesting enough, the time of the year where people have the most sex is December. Not myself. This is actually the time of year where I have the least sex. So we're gonna unpack that on today's episode because yeah, I'm a real life Grinch, and some of y'all probably know that about me or may have assumed that about me. Welcome to Hernutmatters, the podcast that dives headfirst into all things sex, pleasure, and empowerment. I'm Jody, your unapologetic guide to a more liberated sex life. Here we break down taboos, celebrate sexuality, and explore what it means to truly own your pleasure. So whether you're curious, kink-friendly, or just looking for ways to spice things up, you're in the right place. Now let's get to it. But that's what we're going to get into today. So, what I don't want to do is make it seem like this is just going to be an episode about all the things I hate about Christmas, because it won't, although I will talk about a lot of the shit that I hate about Christmas in this time of the year. But I think we all can agree that there's a very romantic undertone when it comes to the holiday season, right? So when you think about like cuffing season, like this is the time of the year that people talking about matching pajamas and all that shit, right? Now, historically, like if you go back to where, all right, cool, men and women really need each other to survive, it made sense to cuff somebody in the wintertime. Like we actually need each other, right? But now we just doing the shit and don't even realize the real, like, not at least from a biological perspective. Like we don't understand the biological reason as to why we're doing it. So it's like, it's kind of transformed from this biological need to just a cultural, social phenomenon. So every year around this time, people start asking like, how is looking for matching pajamas? And on the one hand, it's like, okay, kind of tongue-in-cheek, jokey joke. But on the other hand, a lot of people during this time feel very lonely. Like the wintertime is actually a very depressing time. Like there's literally less sunlight. People dealing with financial issues because they buy into the commercialization of the holiday season. Not me, because I hate this shit to begin with. People literally feel lonelier around the holiday season. And when y'all go to visit y'all families and shit like that, and they saying like, oh, you still single? Oh, when are you going to have kids, or when are you going to do this? Like, there's a lot of social pressure to be with someone and be in a relationship around the holidays. Now, there are also some, like, interesting facts outside of the fact that, again, most people have a lot of sex in December. That's why there's so many Virgos in the world, unfortunately. But there are other interesting stats, too. Like, more than 30% of people hook up with, like, just have hookups, like having one night stands, random hookups with people during the holiday season, just so that they feel some sense of closeness, just so that they can kind of put a temporary band-aid, if you will, over the loneliness of the holidays. And I kind of think about myself, right? And I think about the ways in which I've thought about the holiday season. I ain't liked the holidays since I was a kid. Like, I remember being 12 and telling my mom, like, you don't even got to wrap my gifts, because I kind of feel like it's a waste of time. Like, I'm going to have to throw this wrapping paper in the garbage right after this. Like, you going to make me clean up after this, like, after I open up all these gifts. So I don't even want to do that. You just give me I don't have to open it up. I don't need to be surprised. Like, I kind of had that approach when I was a kid. And then as I got like older, it kind of like went into the situations I had with like even relationships. Like I'm dating people and I never really like, the only way I'm gonna buy somebody a gift that I'm dating is if I know they're gonna buy me a gift. And that's because it's like the reciprocity. It's not because it's in my heart to give you a gift for Christmas. I don't give a fuck about Christmas. Like anything that I want to give somebody, I'm going to do it just regularly throughout the year. And so for me, I've kind of had that mindset for a long time. Also, now that I think about it, growing up, my dad didn't celebrate Christmas at all. Like, he was very much not buying into the white man's holiday at all. And maybe a little bit of that kind of like rubbed off on me, whether intentional or unintentional. But yeah, I feel like I've been pretty much a Grinch my whole life. That said, I really hate that I've never had Christmas sex. Like, I feel like a lot of people just be wanting to have sex around all of the holidays. And when I talk about people, I'm talking about me. I'm the people. I be wanting to have sex for all of the fucking holidays, Christmas included, and I don't be getting no Christmas dick, and I don't like that for me. I think that's the only thing that I'm upset about, like when it comes to the holiday season, is that I don't be having no sex. And I really do be feeling like I don't give a damn what the fucking holiday is. Like, I want to have sex for a holiday, like Martin Luther King Day, let's have sex. St. Patrick's Day, let's have sex. Flag Day, let's have sex. Like, I want to have sex for the holidays, but that's because I like to have sex. And so what's also interesting about that as well is because, of course, when you're having sex, the hormones that are released, right, is the same sort of hormones that are released when you are around people that you love and enjoy, right? So technically, I don't have to have sex. I could just go like kick it with my friends. It would generate the exact same hormones. Like, it'll still generate the same serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, like all of the good hormones that come from sex. My freaky ass just be wanting to freak. So but I know that about myself, right? I know that about myself. But anybody that's listening, I don't want y'all to kind of succumb to the societal pressures of feeling like you have to go out and fuck somebody because it's the holiday season. Like, you go fuck yourself. Like, you could really just, instead of, looking for someone to, fuck on because it's the holiday season and you feel alone, whatever the case may be, you can kind of turn that inward and just, masturbate a lot and just love on yourself. Like, this could be a self-love holiday where you're being selfish and you're prioritizing your pleasure around this time of the year, right? Because again, is getting less sunlight, depending on what, I guess, where you listening from, like wherever you are in the world, a lot of places in the United States, it gets darker, right? So if you're in the Midwest or the East Coast, it's darker around this time. Like, again, a lot of people just, feel they kind of like their emotions and their psychological state to an extent is tied to the seasons. People are typically happier and more, willing to do things in the spring and summer months when it's nice and warm. And I live in Chicago, so it's dark come like 3:45 in Chicago. So we really ain't getting that much sunlight. But yeah, like at the end of the day, November going into December, but especially as it gets around Christmas and you got people talking about matching pajamas, everyone has this kind of desire for a connection. So that's what I really want to talk about, right? That desire for a connection. And how does that tie into the fact that I hate this time of the year? I hate this time of the year, right? And I've hated this time of the year for a very long time. And so what I've kind of been thinking about today, right? Because I just decided, what time is it? I decided like 5 years ago, I said 5 years, 5 hours ago, that I was going to have this conversation around Christmas because I ain't never had no Christmas sex, right? And what I realized is that, okay, if people are typically looking for, if they're trying to feed that urge and kind of that desire for connection, right? They're trying to feed that. I don't like being connected with people. I think that's why I hate this time of year. Like, this time of the year, again, I talked about it being over romanticized. Like, I kind of wrote, like, and on the one hand, maybe it's a trauma response of me, like, never feeling like I've never really truly experienced romance. So also, I wouldn't know how to deal with or receive romance. But at the exact same time, I kind of run away from those situations too. Like, I don't be wanting to be overly mushy. I don't be wanting to, like, overly show affection. Hell, I could be thinking about a motherfucker and won't text them just so that I feel like, all right, cool. Just so that I don't feel like I'm overly invested in a situation. Like, I know that about myself. So if y'all know anything about attachment styles, like, I'm very avoidant. Very avoidant. So I honestly think that because this is such a romantic time of the year, I kind of just like, I'm good on it. Like, before I even really gave it a chance. And that's not to say that I'm going to start celebrating Christmas, because I honestly do not think I am, because again, there's still the commercialization of the like, it doesn't really mean anything outside of like spending a bunch of money and getting people some shit that just, I don't know. I like birthdays. I like to make people feel loved for their birthday. I go above and beyond to make people feel love for their birthday. But around this time of year, for me, it seems so superficial. Seems very superficial. And I kind of like, because there are a lot of stereotypes, right? It's a lot of stereotypes when it comes to the holiday season. And so, unfortunately, around this time of year, because you have December going into February, right? So, like I said, a lot of people are having sex in December. I read somewhere that the day in December that people are most likely to actually conceive is December 11th. I don't fucking know why, so don't ask me why. Do some research, and y'all tell me why. But I definitely read somewhere that December 11th is the day in December where a lot of people conceive. And there are a lot of Virgos in the world. It's like there are more Virgos than any other zodiac sign in the world. And that's because there is an uptick of people having sex right now, like during this time, right? People was going home for the holidays. They linking back with old flings, doing all like, and then they getting their matching pajamas. Whether or not this shit lasts to Valentine's Day, who knows? But you got your matching pajamas in December. And so, I feel like, to an extent, like, the holidays, because we kind of over romanticize it, right? Like, you think about like mistletoe and all of the like couple shit, right? Like, a lot of shit around this time is for couples. It kind of forces you into like this role. It kind of like, it restricts you in a sense, right? Like, let's say and also it's going to depend on like whether you're single, you're actually in a relationship. The restrictions are going to look different, right? If you're in a relationship, it kind of forces you to kind of like, oh, who do I have to be to the person that I'm with, right? And also I want to point out that, like, again, the holidays is stressful for a lot of people. Like, it causes a lot of financial strains on a lot of people. A lot of people, when they going through shit financially, they don't want to have sex. Like, that's not something that they're not getting turned on as much as they typically would. And that's okay. And it doesn't mean something is wrong with, like, you or your partner because you not in a mood, because you got some other shit going on. Like, we trying to figure out how we finna get all these Christmas presents for these badass kids. Like, I get it. But I don't know, for me, Christmas really just, I don't like it. I'm trying to rationalize why I don't like it. And I think it comes down to the fact that I don't really like things that are centered around romance. Because I'm probably going to make another episode in a couple months about Valentine's Day. Because similarly to, I'm pretty sure somewhere I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna make this up. I'm pretty sure there's some accuracy to this, but the two most romantic holidays are Valentine's Day and Christmas. Like, a lot of people are getting engaged around this time of the year. A lot of people is fucking. Like, it's a lot of romantic shit that happens around this time of the year. So from December going into February, right? Even before we are finished with December, like literally like on New Year's, like as soon as it hit midnight, people be trying to kiss at midnight. Like, there's a lot of romantic ass shit that's happening right now. Socially programmed romantic shit. And because I'm someone, and it's crazy because for a long time I said like, oh, I'm a hopeless romantic. I'm not really a hopeless romantic if I ain't never really experienced romance. Like, I have done shit that was romantic for other people, but nobody has ever truly like romanced me. So there's that. There's that. Okay, that's what I got to say on that. I want to kind of transition into like some holiday myths, okay? Because I feel like there are a lot of myths. There are a lot of myths around the holiday season, and or honestly just some facts, like some things that is helpful to know. So I did a little research for y'all, and we gonna talk about that. All right. So I already told y'all that more babies are conceived in December than any other month, so we know that for sure. There's another statistic. Sex toy sales increase by 20% during this time of the year. So a lot of people is buying sex toys right now. Not mad at that. Get y'all freak on. Over 30% of couples admit to hooking up at holiday parties. So if y'all going to these holiday parties, it's a lot of holiday parties happening in December, and y'all getting drunk with y'all coworkers, and then y'all going home and y'all freaking on them. That shit is happening right now. This is the time of the year where that shit is happening. And it's funny because like movies, like any movie that has like this kind of like not any movie, but a lot of movies that are like based around Christmas and stuff like that, there has some kind of like, there's a little bit of sex, even if it's sexual tension or there's some kind of sex undertone. For example, I don't know if y'all picked up on this in the movie The Grinch. I talked about my favorite movies, right? In the movie The Grinch, do y'all remember when the Grinch was like delivered on the doorstep of his mother's, right? His mother's, they was having a party that night, and they didn't hear him crying outside at the door. Y'all know what type of party they was having? They was having a swingers party. And I know y'all like, Jody, they wasn't having no fucking swingers party. Yes, they were having a swingers party. And this is how I know they were having a swingers party. So at swingers party, now I haven't been to a swingers party like recently, like where it's like a real swingers party. I go to lifestyle parties. I go to poly and, you know, like people that's like, okay, cool, you're on the lifestyle spectrum, right? I haven't gone to a specific swingers party. When people throw specific swingers parties, like, oh, it's the party where the pineapple is upside down type parties, they used to play games where they would all throw keys in a fishbowl. And the men would pull the keys out the keys out the fishbowl. You'll pull random keys out the fishbowl. Whoever's keys you pull, like if like your husband A and you pull the keys of husband B, you get to hook up with husband B wife. So the keys were attached to the wife you was gonna be messing around with that night. And so that's the background of the whole keys in a fishbowl thing. I know y'all probably think like, oh, everybody's drunk, put your key in a... No, they was swapping wives. That's what they was doing with that party. So they having this freaky ass party, and the Grinch is outside in the cold, in the who cold. I don't even know how cold it get in Whoville, but I'm pretty sure it get pretty damn cold because they had like big ass mountains and shit like that. Like I'm pretty sure the wind chill was crazy. They having this freaky ass swinger party, and the Grinch is outside crying. So, and I'm thinking about like, do y'all remember the part where Cindy Lou was interviewing Martha Mayhew? And she was like moaning a little bit, like when she was doing her interview, and she was just all kind of like hot and bothered. Like it was some sexual tension there. And then she was talking about, when she was talking about the Grinch, like she was a horny ass lady, and she was like really turned on. Like she was, you can kind of see that sexual energy, that sexual tension in that or whatever. But either way, I bring that up because that, first of all, that's a kids movie. Second of all, there's some sexual context to the holidays, to Christmas in particular. So yeah. What else did I find? I already told y'all it's the peak for purchasing sex toys. Couples literally have more sex during this time of the year. So if you are a couple, it's a great chance that you've been fucking more than usual. So yes, single people during the holidays, here's a myth. All right. The myth is that it's commonly believed that single people are lonelier and more depressed during the holidays, but a lot of single people actually enjoy the freedom of focusing on themselves. So they can kind of move how they want to move. They don't have to feel subjected to like, oh, I'm in this relationship, so I have to go to your parents' house with you, or I have to do this. Like, people think like just because somebody is single, like they have to kind of like be restricted into some role. And I kind of talked about roles earlier, how like when you are in a relationship during this time of the year, you might feel some sort of restriction. Now, the people listening to this show, y'all might not deal with that because y'all a little bit more, flexible, right? Like I know I got some ethically non-monogamous and poly-identifying people that listen to the show, but I want to keep an open mind around that, right? But if you are someone that does feel lonelier during this time of the year, again, I don't want you to succumb to the societal expectations of like, oh, I have to be with somebody, I have to feel this void. Like, no, you can kind of bring that and focus on yourself. That's what it comes down to. Just focus on yourself. What else? Oh, a lot of people think that the holidays is the time to rekindle old flames. All right. So the nostalgia of the holidays and, just kind of like thinking back to past years, whatever. Now, there's some kind of truth to that, right? Me personally, I feel like around this time of the year, like November and December, guys that I used to deal with almost always pop back up. I don't fucking know why, because I do not give spin the block. I do not give that if you spin the block, I'm going to open the door. Like, I don't give that energy. So I don't know why the hell I just feel like they be barking up the wrong tree with me. I don't know why they do it, because oh my God, that just made me think of something. So this one particular person, I'm not going to say anything more than this one particular person because it would give away exactly who I'm talking about. But he dead ass was like, oh, let's give it a shot, whatever. And it had been years. And I'm like, yo, my coochie done changed like 3 times at this point. Like, it's been so long. Like, are you cool? But yeah, I think it's because, again, he's kind of like, he knows about like, or not that he knows. I think that he was succumbing to the holiday kind of like pressure. And I'm somebody that he knows and has known for a very long time. And I'm not a bad person, guys. Like, I'm really not a bad person. I don't know why I'm single. I'm not a bad person. But and so also I can't say I don't know why guys spin a block on me, because I actually do. I know exactly why guys spin a block on me, because I'm not a bad person. Another myth, which is not necessarily tied to Christmas, but it's more so tied to New Year's Eve, is the whole like tradition of kissing somebody at midnight. Now, that, like, people, like, let's think about why people do that, right? People kiss somebody at midnight because it's supposed to be like a predictor of we're going to have a great relationship for the next year. Like, it's supposed, oh, we're going to be together for the next year, right? There's no, like, that means nothing. That absolutely means nothing. It's about as accurate as eating 12 grapes under the fucking table. Like, the shit that other people, like, I dead ass, like, I've been seeing that more so in the last, like, couple years where people saying, like, all right, I'm going to eat the 12 grapes. And that tradition was started in like Spain or something. Like, it was like it's a European tradition type shit. But yeah, eating the fucking grapes. Now here's the thing. There's nothing, it's not gonna hurt technically. Like, you're not gonna, like, I guess there's no con to eating the fucking grapes under the table. Like, worst case scenario, you don't get into a relationship. You probably, like, but best case scenario, you do. It's just very superstitious. Like, it's kind of like when people be talking about splitting a pole. That's kind of how that one goes, like with splitting a pole. But I don't know. Like, this is, for me, I'm gonna say this. I've never ate 12 grapes. I feel like I don't want to say like I never wanted a nigga that bad to where I went to these types of lengths to try to, like, all right, I'm gonna be in a relationship, I'm gonna do this superstitious shit. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that happened or that didn't happen. Y'all can make assumptions as to what y'all think I've done based on my personality. All right? What I will say is that, yeah, I don't think I ever wanted a nigga that bad. I don't think I ever wanted a nigga that bad. And it's crazy because, like, most of the times, like, around this time of the year, like, even when I was in relationships, I don't think we were, like, on the up and ups around the holidays. I feel like we would be into it around the holidays. I don't remember being in a relationship where it's like, oh, okay, we're going to your parents' house, we're doing this, we're doing that. Which is interesting because, like, one of the, this guy that I was dating a couple years ago, and I told y'all, this is the same guy that called me Thanos. He was upset because he didn't see me on Thanksgiving, but also I'm that person where it's like, why didn't you plan to see me if you wanted to see me? Like, that confuses the shit out of me because I'm someone that tries to go, like, not that I go with the flow, but men dictate the pace at which you move in a relationship. Like, there's no way that me as the woman, I can move faster than you as the man. Like, that's not how relationships are set up. Of course, I want to, explore whatever the fuck we have going on. But if I'm still going to move according to how you move. And so when he was upset that, and again, I didn't realize he was upset. I kind of was just like brushing it off because I feel like if you upset, say it with your chest. And it didn't come out until a couple days later when he called me Thanos. And I'm like, yo, like, I was just kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be that girl where it's like, oh my God, I can't believe you don't want to spend the holidays with me. Like, no, I'm not going to do that because I feel like I'm not finna, I'm a very prideful person. I am a very prideful person. And so I'm not finna and also, to be honest, it had nothing to do with my pride. I genuinely didn't give a fuck if we saw each other or not because I'm like, we gonna see each other and we gonna talk and it's gonna be what it is. I didn't feel like it was tied to the holidays. But also, before dating him, I was in a previous situation with my ex where around the holidays, he would damn near, like, we would get into it. And he would make it seem like, all right, cool, we not supposed to be around each other peoples for the holidays or whatever. So I'm damn near coming off of experiencing that for years. And then, like, I'm in a situation where I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just very much if you want to see me, you gonna hit me up. If you don't want to see me, like, whatever you want to do, you will do. So if you want to see me and you want to kick it, then you'll make that happen. but you're not taking a proactive approach. And then what I later found out is that he had his own kind of like, oh, he's prideful. He don't want to, put it out there like that. So he's expecting me to be the nagging ass woman. And I'm not a nagging ass woman. I'm going to let you cook. I'm going to let you be. So it was just kind of like some miscommunication. That just was what it was. And honestly, to this day, like, me and that particular person, the one that called me Thanos, like, we not on bad terms. Like, he apologized because he knew he was wrong as fuck for calling me Thanos. He knows I have an emotional wall and I struggle with emotions. Like, you don't throw that shit in my fucking face after I confided in you about that. Like, you was hidden below the belt and then you thought, like, I don't know. Like, I think he thought I was going to be, like, super upset about it. But actually, I internalized what he said, but it wasn't in like an upsetting way. It was more of like in a villain way. Like, I'm like, haha, you call me Thanos. Now I'm gonna be Thanos for real. Like, it kind of like, it took an ugly turn. It didn't take the turn that he wanted to take. He wanted to like upset me and then us reconcile it. He did upset me. I didn't show that I was upset, but I just kind of like, I'm like, okay, cool. Now I'm going to like do exactly what you think I'm doing or be exactly who you think I am anyways, which is kind of like, I guess that was me being a dickhead a little bit, but whatever's supposed to happen will happen. That's how I look at it. Also, a lot of people have freaky fantasies around the Christmas holiday. Specifically, like, if you look, like, around this time of the year, you got all this Christmas themed lingerie and shit, got freaky elves and Santa's little helper and Mrs. Claus and all this like freaky shit. Now, if you out there and you find how like Christmas stuff arousing, hit me up because I'm curious as to what specifically you find arousing, because some people find like elves and like shit like that like arousing. I don't even like holiday scents. Like, I don't like the smell of the holidays. I don't even like that shit. So I don't know. Like, I hate shopping around this time because everything be like Christmas themed this and peppermint this, and I don't like none of that shit. I do like peppermints, but I like peppermints regularly. I don't like Christmas peppermints specifically. I'm not gonna buy no Christmas themed any fucking thing. I really don't. I don't fuck with it. Yeah, those. Okay, I'm finna wrap this shit up because honestly, all I did was tell y'all about how I don't fucking like romance and I don't like the holidays, and I think it's because I'm a Grinch ass bitch. I don't know what else to say about this. I was going to go in a totally different direction, guys. And I'm like, no, that's just not who I am. It's not who I am. But also, I think that the reason that I'm this way is because it might genuinely be one big ass like trauma response. Like, it might just be the fact that like, oh, hard exterior, soft interior. Like, yeah, I'm not used to. I was finna say I'm not used to shit. I'm kind of not used to shit. I think I'm one of those people. That's not really. I'm used to some shit, and it's crazy because I feel like the shit that I'm used to versus the shit that I'm not used to. I feel like the shit that I'm not used to, people be surprised that I'm not used to that, because they be like, but you got all this other shit going on, and you this and you that, and this is how your life is. And I be like, yeah, two things can be true. But what I want y'all to take away from this is that the holidays suck. Fuck Christmas. Fuck them matching pajamas. Fuck romance. Just kidding, guys. Don't like I said earlier in the episode, don't feel be yourself. Be your fucking self. Whether it's the holiday season or not, find ways to really love on yourself and embrace whatever it is that's going on, and try to find like the positivity in all things, right? Because I think that's honestly like the most important thing around this time of the year. There is an opportunity to reconnect with different people and like just be around family and friends and all those amazing things. But don't feel the need to like overly kind of compensate for the fact that this time of the year might not be your best time of the year. Because it damn sure ain't mine. I told y'all, I'm the Grinch. I don't really care for the holidays at all. But I wish, like, a part of me kind of like wishes I did. Like, and it's not even like a jealousy thing. Or maybe it is. Maybe it's like I'm a little jealous of people that like know how to kind of navigate this holiday space, because I don't. And that's crazy to say, but it's honest to say too. Like, I don't really know how to navigate this space. And so when I don't know how to navigate spaces, I kind of just like withdraw or retreat and sit back and just let shit kind of like play out how it's going to play out. For me, the holidays very much be like a regular ass day. I don't believe in decorating. Obviously, I don't believe in decorating. My daughter begged me for a tree one year, and I was like, I reluctantly did it, but I was like, I don't like that shit. I don't like shit like that. But I don't know. Maybe in the future, a man will come along and change my mind. Maybe not. Maybe I'll begin to formulate different ideas around the holidays and romance. I'll never really give into the commercialization of the holidays. I think for me, I would love to kind of explore just the fact that we are receiving less sunlight. We are in more, like, just in terms of like my emotions being tied to the seasons, I am in a space where I do feel not as happy as I normally do. Not in like a depressing way, but just like it's not normal still. Like, I know where my baseline is and I'm not at my baseline. And so for me, it would just be exploring ways to get to that baseline, like fill in the gap of, feeling like I'm more close to people. But y'all know how I feel about being close to people. Like, it's a very tricky thing for me because I love people, but I hate people. Very love-hate relationship with that. So that's all I got for today's episode. Y'all gonna be listening to this on Christmas, so Merry Christmas, even though I don't really give a fuck about Christmas. But y'all, a lot of y'all probably give a fuck about Christmas, so Merry Christmas to you. Feliz Navidad. Yeah. That's all I got. When y'all hear me again, it's gonna be like New Year's or some shit. So, for that episode, I don't know. We gonna see how I feel in a week and what I'm gonna drop on that day. So, if you came to the Her Nut Matters event, thank you. Shout out to you. I just dropped a recap video today, the day that I'm recording this. So by the time you listen to this, it would have been a week ago. If you were at the event, the photos for the event are in the link in my bio, so you can access that. Also be on the lookout for a lot of amazing Patreon content coming in the new year. So in January, Patreon gonna be crazy. So I'm gonna keep y'all posted on that. As always, make sure y'all follow me on Instagram, because I basically tell y'all all my business on Instagram anyways. But all things me and Her Nut Matters can be seen and heard and engaged with on Instagram in particular. And yeah, that's all I got for y'all today. Make sure y'all always sharing the content with somebody y'all think would enjoy it. And that's it. I'm out. Thanks for tuning in to Her Nut Matters. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and share the pleasure with others. Follow us on Instagram at Her Nut Matters to stay updated on everything we have going on. Remember, pleasure is power. Go out there and own yours. Catch you next time.